Hello, everyone. Just want to remind everybody I am recording this so you can watch it later, or for those who may miss today, so just keep that in mind. I did bring my nicer microphone today, so hopefully the audio quality will be a little better. So we'll go with that. Hope you all had a great first week. Everybody have a good first week? All right, you're starting week 2 now, so again, welcome back. So I didn't get an opportunity to introduce myself as well as I wanted to last time because we had the ACS student affiliates come in and talk with all of you. So I want to tell you just a little bit more about myself, and then we'll talk about the semester by semester project that you all have to get ready for here soon. So I've uploaded a bunch of stuff into Canvas, and we'll go through a lot of that with you. So again, I'm Dr. Doug Masterson. I'm an organic chemist by training. I did my undergraduate work at the University of Arkansas. I was a transfer student. I transferred from northeastern Oklahoma A&M, which is in my hometown. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my transcript. I want you to see what it looks like. I did my PhD at the University of Oklahoma. I ultimately went to Vanderbilt for a few years and did 2 things there. I was a postdoctoral associate there for 3 years. And I actually taught Gen Chem for non-majors there for a year before I came to Southern Miss in 2004, where I started my independent career and ultimately got into the provost office somehow. I think I turned a report in on time, and that's how I ended up doing that kind of stuff. So anyway, I wanted to share a little bit about my academic background. So as you start to think about building your own academic plan for success, your own semester by semester guide, you'll kind of have an idea of what things might look like at the end, okay? So this obviously is, for you all anyway, quite old. You all weren't even born here yet at this point. But this is what a transcript looked like for me. You can see they listed all of the transfer credit for Northeastern Oklahoma A&M College. What I have highlighted, you don't need to spend too much time focusing on the details, but what I have highlighted are courses that you all would consider part of the general education curriculum here. I have a lot more gen ed than you all are required to have now. Times are different, right? And so we expect high schools to do a lot of this. But, you know, there's my intro chemistry, my university chemistry, my composition, which was your English 101 and 102. I had to take history for the American people. I took physics. I took an American government class. I had zoology. Then I started over in Arkansas, and I had to take intermediate composition. We actually had to have what we didn't call it intermediate composition students, then we called it junior English. So we had to have the English 1, English 2, and then we had to English it again. All right. So actually I have 4 English classes on my transcript. I also had to have world literature. And so all of those courses, you can also see my fall of 1993, which was not long after I started there. I only had 1 chemistry class. The rest were what we would call gen ed. I had to have film lecture. I had elementary Spanish too. I had Western civilization. I had an intro to literature. I had to have a writing requirement as part of my graduation, which occurred in the college. I had music lecture. I had intermediate Spanish. I had all of those types of things. And so when you look at it, I actually had a total, when I transferred everything, I had 136 credits. That's 16 more credits than you all have to have today. The only credit that didn't count towards my graduation at that time was the organic chemistry that I took at the community college. And the reason I took organic chemistry at the community college was because I wanted to have a summer work study job, and I had to be a student to have a work study job. So I took what I affectionately call baby organic chemistry, which gave me a leg up as I went into the organic sequence at the University of Arkansas. So I transferred in with 64 of those credits, and as you can see, many of those credits are highlighted and would be what you all would consider gen ed. So, can anybody tell me how many credits do you all have to graduate from USM with a degree in chemistry or biochemistry?
120, right?
120. That's 16 credits lower than what I had. Not that I had to have all of those, but that I had. And many of you will have more than 120 credits by the time you graduate. Many of you are in the honors college. Many of you are going to add a minor. Many of you might add a double major. Right? So your credits can actually be bigger than that. than the 120. But the 120 is what you have to graduate from the University of Southern Mississippi as a minimum, okay? So that's a given. So when you put together your semester by semester guide, at a minimum, all of your credits have to add up to at least 120, right? All right, very important. So I want to talk a little bit about the general education curriculum first. Why can't Firefox open that page?
It's not even opening in Outlook.
You have to click the little button at the, yeah, you have to click on it, and then where it says it at the top on the gray bar, click on that.
Oh, okay. That should have opened it into a new, okay, good. There it is. We all learned something, right? So I'll have to see why that's wrong. So at the University of Southern Mississippi, we have a general education curriculum. Can anybody tell me why Gen Ed is important for you all?
To have holistic knowledge.
Holistic knowledge, that's a good point. What else?
A foundation
A foundation of what kind of a foundation?
of basic life skills or things that you need to know.
Okay, some life skills, maybe some things that you need to know. Anything else?
To explore different subjects and understand what you're interested in.
Okay, yeah, so especially if you come in not knowing exactly maybe what you want to major in, getting a little bit of exposure across different disciplines may help, okay? This is what the university faculty think why you need a Gen Ed. These bullet points. We think you need this so that you can analyze, evaluate private, public, and professional discourse, so that you can assume leadership roles, so you can engage your local, national, global communities as a responsible citizen. I'm not going to go through all of them. All right, make choices, conscious of intellectual, societal, and ethical context. Create and engage in equitable, inclusive, diverse, and accessible communities, organizations, professions, and politics. See yourselves in your communities. Assess scientific data and conclusions. Appreciate the arts and collaborate with others to create a humane world. That's why our faculty put this Gen Ed together. Okay? This is what we hope that you can get out of it. You don't need to know all this other stuff that's here, okay? In terms of general education oversight and all that kind of stuff. But there are some student learning outcomes. These are things that you're going to be able to do as you go through the Gen Ed. These are things that you can actually put on your resume, believe it or not, when you can say you have skills in these areas. Okay? So I encourage you all to go through that, because the Gen Ed is a very important part. How many of you think it's just the basics you got to get out of the way? Yeah. Be honest, right? A lot of you do, right? And that's okay. They are basic courses. Some people think about that, right? They are not just basics to get out of the way. You're going to learn valuable critical thinking skills in these classes. You're going to learn how to develop and write and make a coherent argument about things. All of those things are going to really contribute to your career. Many of the things that you learn in the general education curriculum, I guarantee you later in life you will find more important than sitting in my organic chemistry class. Because the technical stuff that you're going to learn in your degree, when you go to apply it, will be second nature to you. But you're going to be asked at some point to go to a meeting and have an intelligent conversation with somebody that's not a chemist, and they're going to talk about some piece of literature or music or fine wine or whatever, and you will have learned some of those appreciations through the Gen Ed, although we don't have a wine appreciation course, although we probably should. Would be nice, right? So, this outlines what the requirements are for our Gen Ed. And some of you have probably satisfied many of these Gen Ed requirements, either by transferring, dual enrollment, or taking classes somewhere else, ACT scores, tested out of certain things. That's all possible, and that's perfectly fine. So we have ACT requirements on some of these things. But you'll notice in GEC 01, as we call it, this is your composition, right? This is where you're going to learn written communication. In the natural sciences, you're going to take 2 courses with their respective labs. Good news is for you, your degree requirements satisfy this, right? You're going to take general chemistry, you're going to take physics. If you're biochemistry, you're going to take some biology courses. So By being in here, you're gonna satisfy GECO2 without much thought. Now, the path to that will be different for the chemistry student versus the biochemistry student, because the biochemistry student may take biology before they take physics, and so it'll show up on their transcript as if they've satisfied their GEC with the biology as opposed to the physics, but that's okay. Right, so we've got a slew of courses there that people can use to satisfy that requirement. You're going to have a humanities requirement. You're going to have to take world literature. English 203, you're going to learn about literatures of the world in a way, right? You're going to have to complete one of the courses. Well, you got to complete two. One of them has to be a history course, at least at the moment, right? So you're going to either complete History 101 or 102. You get to pick, right? Whichever one sounds better for you. And then you can choose among these others for your other one. I would highly recommend, I mean, all of them are good choices, but I would highly recommend for anybody thinking about going into the sciences and or medical school, the medical professions, I would take one of the philosophy courses. You don't have to, but I would highly recommend that you do. Philosophy, I have to admit, was the best course I ever took as an undergraduate in college. It wasn't one of my chemistry classes. It was my philosophy class, believe it or not. And I took essentially what was the Introduction to Philosophy 151. Philosophy is how we know what we know. It's the foundation for knowledge. I learned more about logic in that philosophy course by arguing both sides of social issues than I ever learned in any of my math classes. When you walk into a math class, the math teacher is going to assume you know what the equal sign means, right? And quite frequently, we don't really know what the equal sign means when we're putting it to practice. But I started to learn that in my philosophy class. Why is this side of the argument unequal to that side of the argument? And we started making those things. So I wasn't solving equations, right? But I was getting the information that I needed and the skills that I needed to actually apply to chemistry in a way that I think it would have hurt me if I'd taken some other class. Okay? Those are my recommendations. You can choose whatever you need to, but I think that's a good one. Aesthetic values, you're going to learn something about art, music, theater, or dance. I had to have a couple of those courses. I had film lecture and I had a music lecture. I watch Turner Classic Movies today because of my film lecture class. Before that, I was only interested in modern movies. I went in and I had to watch, now we don't have film lecture up here, but I had to watch some black and white, and what I would have said when I was younger, that's probably boring. I got really interested in it. So today I watch Turner Classic Movies from time to time because of that interest. When I was your age, I was more interested in more modern music. Taking music lecture, I learned about different types of music. So today I appreciate and listen to quite readily classical music, jazz, other types of things that I wouldn't have growing up in Northeast Oklahoma, where pretty much so if you walk into any bar, restaurant, or establishment, you're going to be listening to country music, right? It was able to expand my horizons through my, what would you all would call GECO4 aesthetic values. And then social and behavioral sciences, you're going to have 6 hours here. For those of you that are going to, thinking about going to medical school, I believe they want you to take psychology and sociology. Those are excellent choices under any circumstance, but particularly if you're thinking about going into medicine. But depending on what you're interested in, you might be interested in any of these other courses. So anthropology has a couple of courses. Geography, if you're interested in the dynamics of a changing earth. American government, for those of you who might be politics people, right? You might want to take American government and understand that. You are going to be more than satisfied in the mathematics area by being in this degree, right? Every one of you have to take through at least Cal 2, right? So, and some of you may take more than that. And so you're going to have your GEC mathematics requirement satisfied quite easily. This is GECO 1 through 06 is what I think of as the Gen Ed core. We don't call it that, but that's what I think of. Every student at the University of Southern Mississippi is going to have to touch every one of those sections. And you will be in classes with people who are not in your major. right? You'll get to know somebody that's in music. You'll get to know somebody that's over in business, somebody that's in nursing. Because every student has to touch those specific courses that you have listed. Now, you have some choice, and you won't meet everybody, but you'll get to meet a lot of people across campus through your gen ed, okay? Now, we also have GEC 07, 08, and 09, and I do not consider these part of the core. They can have a core feel to them, but they don't necessarily have to. GEC 07, your writing intensive requirement for this major will be satisfied not by the English department, but by your PChem course. That's where you will satisfy your GEC 07 requirement. You have to do a lot of writing in physical chemistry, okay? Your speaking intensive requirement, learning how to give public speeches, a skill that will stay with you forever, I promise, okay? You will satisfy that in the Department of Media and Communication, the School of Media and Communication. We don't have a course in our department that satisfies that. And then capstone. What is the capstone for chemistry and biochemistry? Research. You all will have to do at least 3 hours of research. Why do we consider research to be our capstone? Let me rephrase that. Why do you all think we've selected research to be our capstone?
It's important for our future careers.
It could be important for your future careers. Absolutely. But what else?
Encourages to learn.
Encourages us to learn. Yeah. New things. Apply what we've learned in a new context. When you're doing research, by definition, you will be doing something that nobody else has done. You'll be working on a problem that nobody else has actually done. Overall. Well, you've taken all these courses, and now how can you go into the lab with a graduate student or an instructor and solve a problem that's never been solved before? Right? What better capstone than that? Right? And why does that benefit you over just taking a regular lecture class like this?
It gives you experience, and it's also something like a resume builder.
It's a resume builder. It gives you experience. Very good. Many of you, if you were to come to me when you're a senior and I've never seen you again outside of this class and you ask me for a letter of recommendation, what can I say about you? Not a lot. I probably won't say anything bad about you, right? Y'all good students. But what can I say? Maybe a tiny paragraph, right? This is a 1 hour class. I only see you once a week. Probably can't say much. What I can say, they can probably already get from the transcript, oh, you made an A, made an A in the class, or B in the class, or whatever the grade is that you made, right? I'm not gonna be able to add a lot of context to that, am I? But what about if you're doing research with me 9 hours a week? What am I gonna be able to say about you then? A lot, right? Give me some examples. What could I say about you then?
They're a hard worker.
I could talk about your work ethic. What else could I say?
You're insightful.
Insightfulness, absolutely. Hey, we had this problem, we were working on this problem. We ran into this problem time and time again, and she went to the library and found a paper, and we were able to solve that problem, and the project got done. Absolutely. Now all of a sudden, my 1 paragraph letter of recommendation becomes a 2-pager. If you want to go to medical school, if you want to go to dental school, if you want to go to graduate school, a half page or 3/4 of a page letter of recommendation ain't going to do it. You need somebody that can write a good 2-pager, right? Somebody that can talk not only about how smart you are, right? They're going to be able to figure out you're smart from your grades and your MCAT exam score if you're going to medical school, or your GRE if you're going to graduate school, whatever the case may be. They're going to be able to know you're an intelligent person, you graduated from a university. But I'm going to be able to talk about your work ethic. I'm going to be able to talk about your promptness. I'm going to be able to talk about how well you got along with others in the laboratory. I'm going to be able to talk about those other skills. And guess what? I don't care what class you go to, when you're sitting in a classroom like this, nobody can get at those skills. Anybody who talks about those types of skills in a class like this is making it up. But that would be a genuine opportunity for me to talk about all the great things you're capable of, right? And that's what you're going to need, okay? So that's why the GEC is important, okay? So I want you to kind of change your mindset a little bit. There was a couple brave souls that said it's the basics that I'm trying to get rid of, or get out of the way. And there's some truth to that, right? You do have to complete these things. So they are basic requirements. But they will offer you more than you think, and they will be more valuable to you than you think. So when you go to your advisement session in October, have a conversation with your advisor about your choice of gen ed. Because the choices that you make there can alter the direction of your career. I promise you. Okay? If you're thinking about doing X, Y, or Z, there is a set of gen ed courses that will benefit you better than others. So have that conversation with your advisor. I want to go to medical school. Okay, well, GEC 05, we need to think about psychology and sociology. Oh, I'm thinking about going to graduate school. Oh, well, what do you want to do maybe in graduate school? Oh, well, maybe this. Well, maybe anthropology would be a better choice for you, right? Maybe that's more along the lines of what will happen to you. But you need to have those conversations with your advisor. Walking into an advisement session and saying, here's my classes, sign off, thank you very much, I'll see you next semester, is you're not going to get your full money's worth, I promise you. That's why we have this assignment. I want you to go in to your advisement session with a well thought out 4-year plan, what you think is a good plan, and engage your advisor on help me make it better. This is what I want to do. This is what I'm thinking about doing. Can you change your mind later? Of course you can, right? That's why we have advisement sessions every semester. You may be thinking about medical school today. You may take a class in something. You may completely change your major. You may take a class in something else and you may go, I no longer want to go to medical school. I want to go to graduate school and I want to study organic chemistry. That's what happened to me, right? So there will be points along the way that you can certainly change your perspective on these things. Does anybody have any comments they'd like to share about that? Yeah.
When you need my advisor, are you talking about the advisor that sets up your classes for the next semester?
Yes, but they are supposed to do more than just advise you on your classes for next semester.
I agree because I had issues with that with my advisor, and I advised y'all to go to like your professional advisor, who's like a different advisor. For us, it's like the professional advisor. I think her name's Ashley Johnson, and she.
For those of you who want to go to medical school or something like that.
Medical school, pre-dental,
Pre-dental, that's
pharmacy,
right.
ophthalmology,
Yeah.
all of that.
Mhm.
I suggest go with her and then talk to your advisor.
Yep, so many of you will have more than one advisor. That's good advice. Anything else? Yeah.
I just have a question. Where would we find out, like, where our certain major advisors would be? Because I know I have a general advisor, but I don't know where to look for a major-specific advisor.
That will be in your student center in SOAR.
Okay.
It will have your advisor listed in there. And if it doesn't, contact the department.
Okay.
Diane Wolford, our administrative assistant, and make sure that she gets you assigned an advisor. I'm not saying that it could be that somebody's been overlooked, okay? But if you don't see your advisor there, please contact the office about that. That's very important. All right. I also want to share with you Seymour's GEC. This is where you can go in and find out more about the courses. There is nothing wrong, and I am going to say this, and I am saying it in the recording so that hopefully some of my faculty colleagues will stumble across this. There is absolutely nothing wrong with you shopping around for GEC courses that, as I put it, sing to you. Nothing wrong at all. Seymour's GEC is there to give you more of an idea of what these courses entail. Okay, so when you go in to Seymour's GEC, and let's just pick on the natural science, you're going to see in a lot more than is what is in the course description in the bulletin. Okay, this gives you an idea about what you will really get out of that class. Spend some time looking in Seymour's GEC. Many of you, especially if you're in the chemistry parentheses ACS certified program, you will have plenty of room for some electives. You might want to take an astronomy class because you're in, you like to watch Neil deGrasse Tyson and think that that's real interesting, right? Take it. You got to have some elective credits anyway, right? So you can take more than is required. That's perfectly fine. But you're going to be able to get an idea of what these courses are. So these are a much more descriptive idea than what you would get out of just looking at the course descriptions in the bulletin. Okay? So I wanted to share that with you. All right. Let's talk about our personalized semester by semester plan. This is what you all have to have filled out for me in short order. When you looked at the assignment, many of you probably panicked. It's okay. It is lengthy. I have a lot of requirements. I have a lot of requirements in here for a good pedagogical reason. What do I mean by that statement? It means I'm not doing it just to make you do it. There is a method to the madness. Okay? It's just like lifting weights. Nobody on the football field lifts weights. Nobody on the basketball field runs suicides. Nobody on the golf, whatever, right? But there's a method to that, right? Why do we lift weights? We lift weights to get stronger so that we can perform better, right? It's the reason I'm doing this. You have to follow the format to the letter. Because I want you to have a very polished and professional looking semester by semester guide that is tailored to you when you go and present it to your advisor in October. I want them to know, oh, you've thought about this. Let's have a real serious conversation now about what you need to do. Okay? I do not want any of you walking in and going, what do I need to take, Doc? Oh, that sounds good. See you later. 15 minutes and I'm gone. Your advising session should take 30 to 45 minutes minimum, if it's a good one, especially the first one. So what you're going to do on page 1 is you're going to give your general information. You're going to give your name, your ID, your degree plan, whether or not you're in the honors college, what's your minor if you've selected one, who your advisor is. You're going to put their name there. Their name is not Dr. Alan A. Atomic. I can guarantee you that. This is all made up stuff. You're going to put your ACT math score if you have one. You're going to put any high school AP credits. You're going to put whether or not you have any dual enrollment credits. You're going to put whether or not you have a fraternity or sorority. Why is that information important for your advisor to know?
To know how much hours we are spending.
That's right. I know something about you by looking at just those things. I know where I'm going to need to place you in mathematics. I know what kind of outside commitments you have to other things. And we can start talking about a schedule that is compatible with those. The worst thing that you can do is leave your advising session with an incompatible course schedule to your life. Okay? So, you know, if you're in a fraternity or sorority, you're going to be spending some extra time doing other things. Right? If you've got some dual enrollment credits, I know you're not going to be taking some of the GEC courses. I can start planning differently for you, right? So you're going to list your high school AP credits here. If you don't have any, just list none. That's fine. But don't leave anything blank. List your dual enrollment credits here. I had none, right? But then you're going to talk about your career plans in relation to chemistry, biochemistry. This will not go over the page. All of this information has to be on one page and one page only. That's one of the requirements. One page per thing. Okay, so the general information this includes. This is where you're going to talk about what your plans are as of right now. So you can send this to your advisor in advance and they can read through that and they can go, okay, I know what so-and-so wants to do. Well, before they get here, maybe I need to think about the GEC courses that might fit that career plan better. Or the different chemistry electives that you can take. Maybe we can start putting those, thinking about those for your junior and senior year. Okay? So you're going to write that out. I had a student one year, several years ago in this class, that just cut and pasted from what I wrote. Do not do that. Okay? This is your story. Okay? What you want to do. But what I will say is it's not a sentence. It's not 25 words. That's about what I expect. So I want you to know kind of the expectation of the thought. Okay? Any questions about that before we move on? Okay. You're then going to start with your current semester, whatever that was. I'm assuming most of you started this semester, but some of you had transferred and some of you had been here for a while. That's okay. Start with your very first semester, and that's going to be fall or whatever year it is. I put this together in 22, so that's what it was. But start with your current semester, or whatever your current semester really was when you started. Okay? You're going to list out your courses that you need to take. Okay? You're going to list them out. Notice how nice and neat that looks. Things do not move around. Things do not shuffle. Okay? Use the template. Use Microsoft Word. Notice Math 101, given the ACT math score that I gave, that's where I got to start. That's my college algebra class, and I'm going to take it for 3 hours. And guess what? I've got to have this class to take my Math 103. So this prerequisite 2 tells me what this class satisfies the prerequisite to, okay? Not the other way around. A lot of people get that confused, okay? So, my general chemistry 1, I need that before I get into general chemistry 2, Chem 107. You understand what I'm trying to get at? Okay? You're going to list all of your courses here. That means all of your courses that you need for your chemistry major, all of the GEC courses that you need. If you're in honors, your honors courses. If you're in lucky day. If you're in a minor, and you're working on your minor right now, your minor courses. Okay? You're then going to add this up, and you're going to get whatever that number is, right? For me, it was 15. And then you're going to write 2 narratives. And these are where I want you to think about. The first question is, why these courses? Kind of know how, go through that and see what I wrote. That's kind of what I'm expecting. The answer to this isn't because I got to have them. Okay? That's a given. All right? The courses listed this semester are foundational courses to provide a solid foundation for the upcoming courses in the curriculum. English 101 is required for the first semester, so on and so forth. You all can read how that is. Time management for the semester. How you intend to manage your time. You'll notice I said here, I have a part-time job off campus for 10 hours each week, and I'm involved in a fraternity. These activities will require that I have good time management in order to succeed. I will keep a strict schedule. I have planned what my time management skills need to be. This does not go over a page, the whole thing. It's on a separate page by itself. Is that clear to everybody? Okay. Well, what comes after this fall semester? Spring. So you will do the same thing for spring. Exactly the same thing. You'll have spring, whatever the year. This will be 2025, right? If this is your first semester. You'll put your courses, you'll add up your credit hours, you'll do the why these courses, the time management for the semester, right? And then after spring, what do we do? Fall or maybe summer, right? Not all of you will take summer courses, and that's okay. But I do have a summer template. So for those of you who are taking summer courses, I want you to understand a couple of things. So you would say summer 2025 if you intend to take a course, right? Many of you who are going to take summer courses are going to probably take them close to home. Maybe you're going back home and you're like, I'll take it at the community college. Nothing wrong with that, right? But I want you to understand this statement up here. Students who plan to complete courses at another institution must receive written permission to do so. Please discuss this with your advisor before enrolling in any course at another institution. USM is under no obligation to apply those credits completed at another institution without prior written permission. We require the written permission so that you don't run afoul of our requirements. You have to spend so much time at the University of Southern Mississippi. You have to get the last 21 of your 30 hours at the University of Southern Mississippi. There's a lot of little nitpicky requirements. So if you think, oh, well, in the summer of my junior year, I'm going to go home and I'm going to take that class, I'm going to transfer it back and then finish out my, well, now you might run afoul of completing your last 21 credit hours. And I'd really hate, to get to the very end and somebody go, you can't graduate. Right? That's why we have people get these permissions to go and take courses elsewhere if that's what you want to do. Okay? So those are the only pieces that I have in the template, right? So it stops. But does that stop? Do I stop? I don't stop, right? What do? I pick up and I copy the fall and I create another page and I change the date and I change the courses and I change the why these courses, right? So at a minimum, how many semesters will you be here? 8. Now, some of you with your dual, I get it. But I'm saying, if you started here, didn't have any dual credits, all that stuff, you'd be looking at a fall, spring, fall, spring, fall, spring, fall, spring. I think that's 4 rounds of that, right? And then you can graduate. Some of you will not do that. Some of you are going, I work 3/4 time, I work half time, there's no way I can take 15 hours a semester, I'm gonna take 12 here, I'm gonna take 12 there, I'm gonna take maybe 15 there, and so I may have to have an additional semester, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But go ahead and prepare for that, okay? So, this is what you gotta do. Am I going to be nitpicky on this? Yes. I am going to be nitpicky on this. And what I will tell you is this is not something you can do the night before. This is a serious and a lengthy assignment. Okay? It does require a good amount of work on your part to get it done and get it done right. Okay? So, I would get started on that as quickly as you can. Any questions about that? Yes, ma'am.
So for each semester, we will also still need to write the, why these courses as well as the time management,
Yep.
correct?
You're gonna have to think about what you're gonna have to be doing in the future.
Okay.
Right, when you become a senior and you're gonna have to do your research capstone, and you're like, well, that's 3 credit hours, but, well, since that's lab work, it's really like 10 hours. Oh, wait, if I'm gonna take 15 hours, I'm really gonna be bogged down, and so maybe I should be working that part-time job. Right? I mean, so you need to be thinking about that now, so that you can plan for that. That's the whole point. Yes?
For our time management for like past semesters, if it didn't change that much, is it okay for, not to copy and paste, but for the changes to be like very small?
Yes, that's perfectly fine, as long as it's your work, you're typing it up, that's fine. Yeah, it's your stuff. You will find that some of your time management stuff may not change much over many semesters.
So I was a biology major for 2 years. I'm a junior now. Can I just put my schedule for the last 2 years? Or
That
do
would be your start, yeah.
Okay, and then I just have to do this year and next year.
And you have to show that you can get through it all to get your biochemistry?
Yeah.
Yep, to get your biochemistry degree.
Do you need us to like write in somewhere if our major change at one point? Like, do you want to see that visually or just?
You can probably discuss that best on the first page under general information about your relationship to chemistry, biochemistry. You can have a couple of sentences there where I started off as, and I decided to switch because whatever that is for you. That'd be good information for your advisor to have. All right. Now, what tools do I have for you to help you with this assignment? Let's go back to that. Let's see, there we go. I have listed in here your degree plans, or where you can go get your degree plan. So if you're chemistry ACS certified, you can click on that and get your degree plan. If you are chemistry, biochemistry, BS, you can get your degree plan there. I put chemistry education, but none of you had listed that as something you're interested in. But if you're thinking about maybe teaching high school, give it a click, okay? But these are the 2 that we're gonna focus on today. And so since most of you are biochemistry majors, I'm gonna click on the biochem. Okay, you'll go there, you'll click up here, apparently you need to, and it will take you to the page. You will see, has anybody seen this page before? All right, good. So it'll give you a little bit of a preamble about the program, it'll give you the degree requirements, and it will give you a rough semester guide. Use that as guidance to building your plan. Do not just cut and paste from that, because it is idealized. If I click on the semester by semester guide, right? What do you notice? Right? This is your first semester. It assumes you can start in Calculus 1. Many students can't start in Calculus 1. There is nothing wrong with that. I did not start in Calculus 1. You all saw in my transcript I started in pre-calc. Nothing wrong with that. Right? But that's all of a sudden, now all of a sudden my semester by semester guide is off. Because I would have put pre-calc there, right? And then Cal 1 in the spring, and so on and so forth. These are idealized. Okay? But it's a great place to start. Okay? So definitely go through and look at it, and it's basically the same outline or way it's outlined for the chemistry ACS certified as well. Okay? And so you can see it's quite lengthy and quite long. So when you're building your personalized semester by semester guide, what do you need to make sure happens?
Get all the required courses.
Every required course needs to be scratched off. I am not going to be picky about electives. I am not going to advise you on your elective choices. I am not your advisor. I'm helping you build an advisement tool. So when you list your elective and you say, I want to take this biology class, that's a conversation for you and your advisor to have. I will go, is there room for that elective? Yes, there's room for that elective in the chosen elective. For my purposes, it's good. Whether or not that's the best elective for you, that's a conversation for you and your advisor. Okay? Does that make sense? All right. Good. You will go through the chemistry degree plan, making sure that nothing is left off. Because again, those semester by semester guides, I'm not going to guarantee them. Okay? But the degree plan is what I will guarantee. As I told you, I am the senior associate provost at the institution. I'll tell you my philosophy, and I'll tell you what I hold people accountable to, the degree plan. If it says that you need to do something on the degree plan, that's the contract. If one of your advisors says, well, the real requirement is, you say, that's not what the degree plan says. Right? Do not let your advisor take you down the wrong path. If the bulletin is wrong, by definition, it is right. You all understand what I mean by that? It is the authoritative document, right? So, you will go through this. I will look at this. I will look at what you proposed as your degree plan, semester by semester degree plan, and I will go through with a highlighter, and I will literally mark off, has so-and-so marked off every one of the classes. And are they in approximately the right order? Well, I'm going to take PChem next semester. No, you're not. You haven't met the prerequisites yet, right? Yes, you checked it off. It's on the list, but it's not in the right order. You got to have things in the right order as well, okay? So we got to think about prereqs, right? Where can I get prereqs? Well, there's Organic 255. When I click on it, it tells me I have to complete Chemistry 107 and 107L before I get into Organic 255. Right? So when I put Chemistry 107 and 107L, which will probably be for most of you next semester, right, in the spring, right, what would you list that this is a prerequisite to, these courses? To organic. That's how you'll list it on that list, okay? Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. So, I've done something that might seem a little confusing, but I promise it's not. You'll also notice that I've put some Excel spreadsheets in here. So this is chemistry, biochemistry, algebra ready, prereq matrix. Okay? If you click on that and open it up, okay, it will give you what the prereqs are. So, Composition 1, English 101, there is no prereqs, but it's 3 hours. Notice I've also given you the approximate rotation for the courses, so you'll know whether or not they're typically out from fall, spring, or summer. Okay? So, General Chemistry 2, it has prereqs of 3 and 4. You have to have Gen Chem 1 and the lab before you get in there. That's what this means. Okay, so when it says prereq, that's what that means. Okay? And over here it says co-req. You'll have to expand it out. It's not showing up. But it also says is that 5 is a strict co-req, which is, the laboratory, right, has this as a co-req. So you can't take Gen Chem 107 without taking the lab. That's what that's telling you. Okay? Does this make sense? Okay. And then guess what? I know that my general chemistry is taught fall, spring, and summer. I know that my organic chemistry 1 is taught fall, spring, and summer. So you kind of know when they're offered. Now what about the rotations for the other classes? GEC classes are almost always taught fall and spring. Your minor courses or your honors courses, you're going to have to figure that out. And I will assume that they're correct. Okay, but again, that's something that you'll need to talk with your advisor about. Those things are a little more flexible, a little more movable. Okay? But you've got these. And again, this assumes you started algebra, so if you were able to start in trig, don't worry about algebra, just worry about the prereqs to trig. Right? If you're starting in calculus, don't worry about that, or about trig, but worry about the calculus piece, and it's in here as well. Okay? Are there any questions about any of that? Yes?
Okay, I took like 12 hours of dual credit in high school. Do I just write that out like it's like it was a semester?
Your dual credit will be listed on the front page, the courses that you took as dual credit. You will not list them in any semester.
Alright.
So, let's say, what was one of your dual credit classes?
Algebra.
Okay, so you took algebra as dual credit, you'll list that on the first page, but nowhere in any of the other semesters will you list algebra. Okay? Yes?
Well, you take a bunch of technical courses as well. You should list that as a, where do you put that?
Since our degree plans don't count technical electives for the degree, I would ignore putting those in. Now, you might want to put that in your narrative that you took a bunch of technical courses for whatever reason. That may be important information for your advisor to know about you. But it is not necessary to list those in a previous semester because they don't carry academic credit towards this degree. Okay? Yes?
When listing our previous dual credit courses, do you want it listed like the semester classes or just list the name of the class?
I want you to list it in a way that is best for the advisor to interpret what it is. So certainly the title of the class, but if you have your transcript in front of you, you know the prefix and the number. So if it was a chemistry class like CHE 111 whatever, general baby organic, whatever the name is, and it was 3 credit hours, list it out to where it says. But if all you know is the title, just put the title. Any other questions? This is a quick turnaround on the due date. Why is this a quick turnaround on the due date? Anybody want to tell me?
So we can have it for fall advisement,
And when is that?
October.
October 1. Well, I'm going to have you turn it in to me early September. I got to have time to read all of them and provide you all feedback. Right? Every one of you will receive feedback. Do not take it personally. And again, the grade is dependent on your ability to follow the rules and make sure that it's complete. Okay? And again, I can't emphasize this enough, you will not be able to do this assignment the evening before it's due. Right? And there's not many days to get it done. So you need to kind of back calculate what your time is. So this is your first real test in time management. Okay? For this class. This is the most valuable sheets of paper you will generate this year because you are planning out your entire future at USM. It is more important than any essay you will write for any other class. It's that important. What else can we say about this document that you'll be generating for me? Well, you can say one thing is that it is a living document. What do I mean by it is a living document?
It can be changed.
It can and will be changed, most likely. All right? You will go into your advising session. And you will think that next semester you can handle 18 hours. Some of you will do that. And then something will happen in life. You get sick. Your mom or dad gets sick. Heaven forbid. Right? But things happen. Life happens. Right? So are you still going to take those 18 hours? No, you're going to adjust. And what do you need to do when that happens? You need to change your degree plan, or your semester by semester personalized planning. All right, remember on the front of your card, I need you to put your ID number. I need you to print your name. And then on the back, I want you to write a little bit to me about why you chose USM. Why did you choose the University of Southern Mississippi? Just a couple sentences. When you are done with that, you may turn them in up here at the front. If you have any questions about the assignment, please email me. We can make arrangements to meet if you need to. Whatever.